Hello YouTube, this is JJ from Which J Today, coming back to you with another video. And this is a story that I found quite interesting. Woman learns mother-in-law planted hidden camera in her home after she used private conversation against her. People be trifling straight up, bruh. You can't have any privacy in your own home, man. You gotta have like a EMP device, so every time that you're trying to do something on a low, you just have to blast that and make sure that all your devices, they're in some sort of copper protection, so it protects against the blast. But nothing is sacred anymore. People are going to do everything like they got the right. But let's read this article and I'll give you my thoughts. Mothers-in-law can be challenging to get along with, but some are more demanding than others. One found out something sinister when she discovered what her mother-in-law had been doing for the past 6 to 8 months. Kaya, who goes by kiyahramirez on TikTok, decided to tell the story of her mother-in-law in a 4-part video series titled Monster-in-Law. She started by asking everyone to put a finger down if you're getting engaged to the love of your life. Your fiance loves you, your parents love you, and your in-laws love you, and life's just going great. Her video is playing off the popular Put It Finger Down challenge on TikTok that is supposed to be about sharing relatable stories, but in Kaya's case, her story is not relatable at all. Then soon after you have your kid, you get pregnant again. You're super excited to share the news with your parents-in-law, so decide you tell your in-laws first, and they're super pissed, and now they hate you all of a sudden. She says immediately after. Sounds like what you call it, white folks, because white folks, they don't have children quickly. Black folks, they have children quickly. White folks, your children will get old, they darn near, they teenage, darn near adult before they try to have another one. Black parents don't mind having raising a couple of youngsters together. Kaya decides to let her in-laws calm down, waiting to break the news to them when they all go on a trip together. Oh well, wait, if she didn't tell them, then it's not that. Then that's not it. After telling Kaya's parents about the news, they're jubilant about it, but her in-laws remain very angry. When she calls her father to tell him what's happening with the in-laws, he tells her not to take it personally. People can just sometimes be weird about things, and family dynamics are different. She feels better, but when her husband arrives home 30 minutes later, he tells her that the in-laws don't want them coming over anymore because she was talking bad about them to her father, which confuses the both of them. They decide to let it go for a bit, but then, after her fiance makes a weird face, he asks Kaya what room she was talking to her father in, and she says the room with the baby cam in it. They realize the baby cam that her in-laws installed have been recording everything that they said for the past 6 to 8 months. She then finds out that they were also giving recordings to other family members, using them to blackmail the couple. Many were confused as to what was wrong with their in-laws. Why were they upset about Kaya having twins with their son? She clarifies in a second video, explaining that her in-laws had become voracious. They were upset about this particular pregnancy because the child that I had before was not their biological grandchild. So the twins that I had are just their biological grandchildren, but my daughter is not their biological grandchild, she explains. Throughout the video, Kaya explains more details about her in-laws, talking about how their fiance was never allowed to put anything in his name before his and Kaya's relationship, and how her mother-in-law has control issues. She gave an example of when they went to purchase a car and put something in his name for the first time. We noticed that his credit card looked a little weird. Come to find out that a $47,000 loan was taken out of his name in 2015 when he had a scholarship to play basketball. She said, I don't know who else had the access to the information. Her mother-in-law also had the police called to the doctor's office. In part 3 of Kaya's TikTok series, he answers a question from the comments and gives a little more insight into whom her mother-in-law is. When she was pregnant with her daughter, she was going through her stepson's doctor's appointment with her husband and the woman whom she calls the baby mama, the stepson's biological mother, was running late. They asked Kaya if she wanted to go to the back with her stepson, which she declined, but her mother-in-law insisted she should. You want me to go back there when you know this child's mom is on their way? Kaya said. You know she hates me. You know she has a history of violence and being easily provoked. Why the hell would you want me to put me in a situation to be in an enclosed area, pregnant with that person? She declined, but her mother-in-law decided to go. 15 minutes later, police arrived at the doctor's office. Ridiculous. Sounds straight up like a Karen, man. The baby mama got the short end of the straw after the mother-in-law fabricated something outrageous, so now the baby mama is no longer allowed to attend the doctor's appointment with her biological son. But what I'm saying, mother to mother, there's a little bit of mutual respect, even though baby mama has treated me like complete crap. It's only because she thinks her enemy is the wrong person. In fact, she's living with her enemy, she states in the video. The monster-in-law epic comes to a close in the final video where she explains how her husband's family has zero boundaries, telling the story of when her sister-in-law asked her if she's even responsible enough to have 3 kids. And she says she's incredibly selfish for splitting all this time between all of the children. Once the sister-in-law brothers got involved, they started posting about how God removes people from your life because he heard conversations that you didn't. No, sis, you heard a conversation because your mom showed you clips of us. Me really in our apartment talking, she said. She has yet to explain why her husband's ex is living with the mother-in-law, but I'm sure she will tell some more stories about this as time goes on. Well, I'm going to play the videos and then I'm going to give my thoughts, but this is ludicrous right here. Can't you go to jail for something like this? I mean, in some states you can go to jail. This is wild. Recording people, man. In their own homes. Nothing is sacred.
Put a finger down if you get to get engaged to the love of your life and everything is great and life is great and your in-laws love you and your parents love your fiance, and then soon after you have your kid, you get pregnant again, and you're super excited to like share the news with your parents and your in-laws, and so you decide to tell your in-laws first, and they're super like fucking pissed, and now they hate you all of a sudden, and you like aren't really sure why. And so then you decide to let things cool off and address it when you're supposed to go on a trip that weekend to see them. And so you hang up and you call your parents, and your parents are like super excited for you both and like super happy that you guys are pregnant. So then the next day, like, you're a little bit stressed about the fact that they're like so upset about you being pregnant. So you call your dad and he tells you like not to take it personally. Like some people sometimes can just be like weird about things, and family dynamics are different, and to have an open mind because he knows you have a tendency to just like shut people out after they like fuck up with you the first time. And so you start feeling a lot better. And so then your husband gets off work maybe 30 minutes after that conversation, and he says that his parents aren't allowing us to come for the weekend because he allows his fiance to shit talk them. So you're both really confused about that, but at this point it's like, okay, whatever, we made an effort. And so you guys just decide to like just leave it alone for the time being, and your fiance hops in the shower, and then in the middle of his shower he hops out and makes a weird face and asks you what room you were talking to your father in, and you tell him that you're talking to your father in the bedroom. And then he runs into the bedroom and grabs the baby cam that my mother-in-law set up and installed for us. And he looks at me and I look at him, and he's like, do you think she would? And I was like, hell no, that's fucking crazy. Like, that's insane. It just must be a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence. And your mother-in-law was watching you guys the entire time for like months. That baby cam was set up for like 6 to 8 months, So then they're just really fucking pissed and they hate you guys. And they start like giving people recordings of you guys in your apartment, like clips, and sending it to people. And then they just are just so fucking pissed about this pregnancy. And the whole time they were thinking it was one baby, but I was pregnant with twins. And now because of all the shit they've done, they will never get to see my twins, and they still hate you. Y'all got questions, so let's dive dive right in. Okay, let's address the baby cam thing first. The type of baby cam it was a VTech something. I don't know. I'll find it and make another video showing you. But basically, you can register your email, and then you're able to log in from wherever at any time through this camera. My husband obviously was registered under it, and it was on his phone. So the night that we kind of suspected that they were using the baby cam to watch us, he logged in, and then he checked registered users, and lo and behold, his mom's email was under that. Now, a lot of you seem to be thinking that the reason they were so mad about this pregnancy and not our other kids is because I was talking shit for months. Believe it or not, I genuinely loved my in-laws and thought we had a pretty good relationship aside from my mother-in-law's clear control issues. So let's give some more context about why they'd be mad about this pregnancy. They were upset about this particular pregnancy because the child that I had before this was not their biological grandchild. My stepson, who is my husband's biological son, he didn't have that baby with me. So the twins that I just had are their biological grandchildren, but my daughter is not their biological grandchild. While I won't get into the custody situation that my husband had going on, a lot of her control issues were presented in that situation. And shocker, she had physical altercations with the baby mama. They did not have a good relationship and were not even on speaking terms during this time. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I just don't want to involve the custody thing or the baby mama in this particular situation. This is about my in-laws. We started to piece together a lot of things after we realized they were watching us. For example, they would ask if we had a rough night with the kids after we had a rough night with the kids. We would have conversations about whether or not we felt like going to visit them for the weekend. And most of the time, my husband really didn't want to go. I was always the one that's like, you know what, why not? Like, they want to see us, they want to see the kids, it's not a problem. And she started to watch those conversations. I know she did, because she would ask my husband if he wanted to come, and he would tell her no, he wasn't feeling it, we were tired. And then she would call me and ask me if I could convince him to come. She also never allowed my husband to put anything in his name prior to our relationship. And this was all January 2021. So it's been some time and a lot of stuff has happened. Just one example would be when we went to buy a car and put something in his name for the first time. We noticed that his credit looked a little weird. Come to find out, a $47,000 student loan was taken out in his name in the year 2015 when he had a scholarship to play basketball. I don't know who else would have access to that information, but that's just one example. I'll make a part 3. So this is a really good question. Also, please don't judge my eyebrows, okay? I didn't know I was gonna go viral, okay? But anyways, I've asked myself this question many times. Me and my husband have talked about it many times because obviously he knows her better than I do. As bad as I don't want to mention the custody case, I think it has a lot to do with that, because she was just super controlling over what he did with his son. I think she used an unfortunate situation where two people who probably should not have, I'm not going to say that. She used an unfortunate situation to gain control. Basically, like, my husband was trying to graduate college at the time, didn't have money to pay for all these attorneys and stuff, so they helped him out. And because of that, he felt obligated to kind of like do what they were asking. Now, I believe that because baby mama was so easily provoked, mother-in-law used me to provoke her, trying to make her jealous, planning photo shoots. They planned my engagement. We had an engagement party. We took Christmas photos and birthday photos for my stepson. Like, she used all of that to try to get a rise out of baby mama, hoping that eventually it would end up with my husband getting full custody. That's my theory. I think she could smell it. It was so close because at the time, I'm not gonna lie, baby mama had some self-sabotaging behavior. Like, she was just doing and saying some crazy stuff. So I think that made mother-in-law happy. She was gonna have full control and full access to her grandson. Now, if you throw another potential grandchild in the mix before she's got full control over one, knowing that I'm a lot less easy to manipulate than baby mama, That's probably not gonna make her very happy. Also, I'm pretty sure she knew I was pregnant before we even told her. So she was sitting on this information. I feel like it was just boiling and boiling and boiling. And so when we finally told her, like, she fucking snapped because she was sitting on it for so long. And so I ruined her grand scheme to, gain control over her grandson. So sorry. My good sis, you hit the nail on the head because I was not raised that way at all. Like, invading someone's privacy was just not tolerated the way I grew up. Now, I gotta be quick because I'm starving and my husband ordered pizza. So here we go. I'm gonna use this comment to tell a story time to give you guys a little bit more insight on who my mother-in-law really is. So at the time, I was pregnant with my daughter and we were going to my stepson's doctor's appointment. I had just moved in with my husband and baby mama was running late. The doctors usually always assume that I'm the biological mother of my stepson. Like, we look alike, we all have the same skin, hair, whatever. So they asked me if I wanted to go back. And I was like, oh, no, like, no. And my mother-in-law looked at me and she was like, oh, you should go. Like, you can go. I was like, you want me to go to the back when you know this child's mom is on her way to attend the appointment? You know she hates me. You know she has a history of like violence and being easily provoked. Why the hell would you want to put me in a situation to be in an enclosed area pregnant with that person? So I was like, no, I'm good. And she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. I was like, well, she hates you too. Why the hell would you go? I was like, okay. She took her ass back there, and 15 minutes later, the police were at the doctor's office. But you know who got the shit end of the stick because she made her look crazy? Baby mama was no longer allowed to go to the back and attend doctor's appointments. And these are doctor's office rules. She was not allowed to go to the back with her own child because of what my mother-in-law painted her out to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending baby mama's behavior. But what I am saying is, as mother to mother, there's a little bit of a mutual respect. Even though baby mama has treated me like complete shit, it's only because she thinks her enemy is the wrong person. In fact, she's literally living with her enemy, but that's for another story. Anywho, they both filed police reports on each other, and that was really the end of that. But I definitely made a mental note that day, like, very fucking weird. Okay, I was gonna wait till tomorrow to explain this part, but we're up, me and my husband, reading comments, and we keep getting this question. So my husband and I dated previously before either of us had kids. During that time, I actually met his parents already, and that was I thought it was 2018. 2017, 2018. We dated for about a year, and then we broke up, which was fucking stupid. But we broke up. We went our separate ways. Long story short, he ended up having a child. I ended up getting pregnant after his child was born. To be honest, we really like related to the fact that we just like had kids by not good people. I think it's also important to note that my daughter's biological father never wanted to be a part of her life. She's never met him. He's never spoken to her, seen her, nothing. My husband decided to be there with me through that pregnancy and all the way up until she was born, all the way up now. Her entire life, he's been there. So we don't refer to him as her stepdad. That's just her dad, and she's actually in the process of being adopted by my husband right now. So, but no, we did not meet when I was pregnant. We had history before that. Moral of the story is when you waste time with the wrong people, you don't want to waste a second with the right one. And so we didn't want to waste any time. And we got back together and we got engaged when my daughter was like 3 weeks old. And we got married a few months after that. And we are happily married to this day. What you doing?
Trying to update my shit.
Good morning, guys. I have a story to tell y'all today. After talking to my husband, one second. Good. You say hello? Hello, everybody. Okay, so after talking with my husband last night, and we were like going through everything that happened, he reminded me of a story that I just could not wait to tell you guys this morning. It has to do with his sister, my sister-in-law, and her reaction to our pregnancy news as well. My sister-in-law, it's important to note, like, she is my mother-in-law's mini-me. Like, honestly, it's almost worse because she's not, like, as calculating as my mother-in-law, so it just comes off really, like, weird. Now, initially, like, I liked her. We had a good relationship, but she's just one of those people whose personality is talking shit about other people, and that gets old after a while. So I can't exactly be shocked that she had a shitty opinion about me and my husband getting pregnant. That night, when all the news came out that we were pregnant, she was like, "Do you really think you're responsible enough to take care of 3 kids? You already have to share time with your son because you take care of Tahani, which is my daughter. You share time because he goes with his mother, and then you share time with us. Now you're gonna have to split time between 3 kids? That's so incredibly selfish, blah, blah, blah. You should weigh your options," meaning abortion. So my husband, yeah, he definitely reacted and basically told her to fuck off and leave him alone, but she just kept going and going and going. Around this time, my husband and I were both supposed to be in my sister-in-law's wedding. My husband told her to take us both out of the wedding because we would not be attending. So then my sister-in-law's brother gets involved and he starts posting things on Instagram. Well, both of them do. My sister-in-law posted something like, "God removes people from your life because he heard conversations that you didn't." No, sis. You heard the conversation because your mom showed you clips of us, me really, in our apartment talking. I'm really going to try to fit all of this in here. So then fast forward months later, my husband leaves to basic training for the military. So my sister-in-law, like before all the pregnancy and everything happened, she had already had me buy my bridesmaid's dress or order it, sent the picture of what it needed to be, and I had it already. While the baby mama moved into my mother-in-law's house while my husband was in training. The wedding also happened while my husband was in training. So my sister-in-law puts the baby mama in the wedding, and you will never guess whose dress she was wearing. Yours truly. And I really believe his family thought that this shit was gonna bother me and piss me off. But I was just looking at my big ass belly like, thank God I found out the pieces of shit you wear before my twins were here, because y'all are fucking insane. Okay, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and answer this question really quick because I feel like it is valid, and I also feel like this is kind of making me think that you guys don't know why I shared my story to begin with. So no, I don't think it's messy to share my experiences because my mother-in-law does not own the copyright to my life. I also think that it's important to share because this is a very lonely experience, and if you've gone through my comments, there are a lot of people who are in similar situations. And it's just not about her. Like, she's already threatened to sue me because of what I've said so far, which tells you how much of a narcissist she is, that she actually thinks I'm doing this to bash her. If I was going to bash somebody, I would have said names and gotten into specifics and all of that. It's not about her. It's my life, and I can share what I want. And also, the title of mom and grandma is earned, and she has not earned it. Therefore, she is not my children's grandma. So I hope that clears up your question.